I also want to give you an opportunity, Sagar, to talk about momos a little bit. And I feel crazy like asking you this question because I've eaten so many of these. And I mean, you've been serving Omaha momos since I think 2019. So a lot of people are very, very familiar. But I'm sure there are people listening and watching to this right now who are just like, the heck is a momo? They keep talking about this. What is it? What are momos and why are they special to you? Hey there, Omaha. Welcome into another episode of Restaurant Hoppen. I'm your host, Dan Hoppen, and Kathmandu Momo Station made me a momo junkie from the first time that I had one of these Nepalese dumplings. I've eaten more of these than I can even count over the years, and it has made me just such a huge fan of Sagar Gurung and his food. And so basically any project that he's involved with, I'm going to be excited about. So when it was announced that he was going to be opening a new bar downtown called Cattle Call, they would serve not only these dumplings, but signature cocktails and other dishes, I was all in. And I have been able to try some of the food. I can't wait to come back and try more. But I also want to meet the guys behind that effort today, and that's what we're going to do. These are the chefs and owners of Cattle Call. We've got Sagar and Dom Gurciullo. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, because we've got multiple voices on the show today, I would love for you guys just to give a quick introduction to yourselves. Maybe tell me who you are, your role at Cattle Call, and what excites you about this new project.
My name's Dom Gurciullo. I'm the head chef over at Cattle Call, and I'm just so excited because these are great people to work with, and it's kind of the first time I've had creative freedom fully to kind of explore some things I've really been wanting to do with food for a long time, and to help facilitate the creation of a new space and make something special happen. And these are the right people to do it with.
Thank you, Dom.
Yeah.
My name is Sagar. I am co-owner of Kathmandu Momo Station and also co-owner of Cattle Call now. My other partner is Rocky. He's not here today, but we had envisioned a space. I used to run a cafe right across the street, and when we started the cafe, the idea was to create a community space where, people could gather and just have a great time. So this kind of is an extension of that journey. We unfortunately closed the cafe during pandemic. So fast forward to now, we took that ethos and, doing a new concept called Cattle Call. But this will be more of a neighborhood type cocktail and food place, and that will also house the Momo menu. And Momo menu in itself is not a big menu, so we wanted to do some creative kitchen work, and that's where Dom comes in. And we're super excited to have Dom and his team, Chef Abe, and the rest of the guys. And we're looking forward to Omaha to come try our space and food, of course.
Well, it's such an interesting concept because, you could almost come at it from either side of it. Like someone could come in and just get a drink and get like a great specialty cocktail, or they could come in and say, I just want to have an awesome dinner, but not like bar food dinner, like pretty elevated food we're talking here. I mean, we'll get into the menu later, or they could come in and do both. I mean, it's something like, when you were describing the concept to me for the first time, Sagar, I kind of had to like stumble my way through it a little bit, and I think it took actually coming into the restaurant and seeing what it looked like, and then I was like, okay, this makes sense. This is really cool. I might not have seen something quite like this before, but this is fun. So how would you describe Cattle Call to somebody who's coming in for the first time?
Well, thank you actually for bringing that up, and I knew I could count on you to kind of refresh my memory. I remember talking to you, and you were like, "What is it now?" So basically, Cattle Call. When we were envisioning the space and the concept, Rocky and I were saying, "Can we have a space that is open early and closes late, right?" And then we always kind of circle back to where we come from. So Nepal, Kathmandu, the city we come from, we have little mom and pop shops that by necessity, I would say, they have long hours of business, but for us, and those places provide this super neighborhood friendly places where I could go any time of the day and I'll see a neighbor. You know what I mean? And I could wake up, roll out of bed, and we're a heavy tea culture, for example. Somebody's making a tea at the house, but we'll still step down just to go see some familiar faces. And it'll be the same thing during midday or late afternoon. So the concept itself, so we started out as a neighborhood, how can we bring people in together? And then we landed at coffee to late night food. So right now we're open at 11, but eventually it'll be coffee in the morning. That's my background when I started. And then starts with lunch and, with cocktails, wine. And then eventually as we progress in the evening, then we have Chef Dom's creation. And thank you for bringing that up, because for us it was like, we want to do late night food, but we want to have a dining experience throughout the evening. And that's where Chef Dom comes in. And just to add one more thing, it was like for this space so we have this cafe in the morning, we have the lunch, lighter lunch, and then the dinner gets more dine-in food focused. And we also have a little retail section where whatever wine we're serving, people are able to pick it up and take it home, or if they want to sit down and open the bottle, we do an extra corkage fees, but they're priced at retail, for example, right? Contrary to how a nice sit-down restaurant does, there's a markup of a certain percentage because we have to once we open the bottle. So that's a different conversation. But the concept in itself will be a neighborhood wine and cocktail place that serves late-night food, but hopefully elevated menu. So and that's where Chef Dom comes in.
And it's definitely elevated, and that comes from your background. You've worked at Dante, you've worked at V. Mertz. These are some of Omaha's finer restaurants that are really they're making their own pastas. They're cooking everything to order. They're using high quality ingredients. What you kind of mentioned, this was your first opportunity to fully express your creativity.
Right.
What was it about this project that made you say, yes, this is my chance to really, push the pedal down on my career and get a chance to do something new?
Honestly, it was talking to Sagar and Rocky about it, like the energy that they brought to the table and the excitement and the focus that they were aiming for in the direction that this place was already set up to be. It was exciting. It was fresh. It was new. It was something I think the city kind of is missing right now, because after pandemic, a lot of these late night places kind of stopped doing those late night hours. And working at like V. Mertz and Dante, we were always like after shift, like, oh, where are we going? What are we doing? Where can we get a bite to eat? So to be that late night spot where hopefully we can be the people that cook for the people that cook for the people sort of thing, and kind of host people that I've met through the industry and have our friends come in and eat our food, and have that be that place where people from all over the industry can come enjoy themselves in all walks of life. Like we're next to Green Room, one of the best bars in Omaha, and like that's kind of an industry bar too if you've never been in there. Like I always run into someone I know from a different restaurant or have worked with in the past, and it's kind of the space and the concept itself is very exciting, and it's fresh, and we're kind of pushing. I wouldn't say we're pushing too many boundaries, but we're like kind of pushing what we're comfortable with, because the late night food isn't something you've really done before. It's not something I've done too much of, but just to kind of like find what works and what doesn't for us, and kind of try and create that niche where we can host people and events and be next to the Orpheum and have all this live action, and 16th Street is constantly getting bigger and better, and like it's just fun. It's exciting. Yeah.
So, okay, you brought up something that I realized I didn't mention. I always like to say where a restaurant is located, so if people want to go, they know. Located just south of 14th and Dodge. So if anybody's looking for cattle call, I mean, you can just plug it in your phone and your GPS. That'll get you there. But if you're an old school person who likes to just follow directions, there you go.
Yeah. 1603 Farnham.
Yeah.
There you go. So you said something really interesting there that I wanted to talk about is like finding that balance of serving elevated and late night food. I mean, part of me wants to just, at all times of day be able to get, oysters or handmade pasta or momos, like these just amazing foods that take time and are chef driven. And then the other side of me, just like if it's 1 a.m. and I've been, having some drinks or something, I just want a sloppy cheeseburger. Mm-hmm. I want some chicken wings. I want something that I can just like pound and it'll, kind of soak up the alcohol a little bit.
Yeah.
How, as you guys are putting this menu together, how do you balance that between like, hey, let's create some dishes that might be good for people that are sharing, maybe some things that are a little bit more indulgent, but also kind of fall back on some of the dishes that, you've grown up creating in your other restaurant experiences?
So I think, well, down the road, we're going to look at kind of like what is moving at the times and what isn't, and kind of lean into that late night menu. And kind of we've been talking about like after 10 p.m. kind of taking the fine dining aspect, like the casual fine dining aspect out of it, and kind of leaning into like doing some fun things like having trivia or DJ nights. And like Saturday during the grand opening, we had a live jazz band in there, which was awesome. They did great. And the energy, you could just feel the energy like bubbling over, and it was exciting. But just kind of like figuring out what works and what doesn't, what people are leaning towards at night. Like I'll eat the momos every day of the week. Like, yeah. So that's
breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Absolutely, and we have been. But so it's been really fun, and we're just kind of like figuring out what works for us and what the people want, and also trying to fit that into our vision of what we want too. And we don't want to ostracize anyone in the market, or like the cattle call thing is like it's an open audition. It's a space for everyone to come and everyone to enjoy themselves. So we're trying to find that place for everyone and make a little bit of something for everyone to come enjoy, and just kind of figuring that out as we go, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may add to this, one thing I love what Dom talked about, and this was something he mentioned earlier too. One of the things he was excited about when we gave him the time, this are the service hours, and he got excited because he said we'll be serving the people who are serving the people. And I think so from a business perspective, we were kind of going back and forth. What kind of menu would be right? Because when you were, around midnight, when you have a little bit in the system, you're like, I don't want to wait. Give me whatever's sitting there. And I've heard those things, But one thing he highlighted where he wanted to stay kind of true to the menu, but didn't slowly evolve is our industry friends are not necessarily coming in hammered, but they want to be, they have been looking out of the window, serving people, enjoying the evening. And I think if we can extend that to them where, they close their service around 10:30, they come in and they still feel like part of the day instead of just whatever's left over, give me, or whatever's just deep fried and just, So I think we have a nice community within our reach in our area where they can come in and still feel like they can still grab a couple of drinks in that hour, but they can still feel like it's a proper dinner. So I think, just to add to what Chef said, we're going to kind of move slowly with that thought process. We're going to still try to keep his menu throughout the evening, but we'll make small tweaks where we have the part that we love that we do throughout the evening, and add few items for the ones who said, no, just give me, I don't want to wait 15 minutes. Give me, we could easily do fried momos or, whatever they're craving for around that area.
What has it been like to create a gathering space for other people in the restaurant industry, to see people that, you bump elbows with, and, your friends or even competitors or people that you've worked with at other jobs, and you're creating that space that's bringing these people together and offering them something a little bit different than they might find. Like you said, Dom, there are other good options as far as bars go that people can go to, but they might not have this type of menu. What's it like for you guys to create this space for that group?
It's special, I guess, is kind of just the blunt way of saying it. Like, it's something, like I said, we were looking for as a group when we were doing those hours, and it's just, yeah, we want that to be the space for it, and they had a lot of it set up by the time I got on board, and kind of like the idea of where they wanted to take it, and I was lucky enough for them to let me have a little bit of input too, and like kind of bring my thoughts to the table, and they listen to them, and they're still boss man, so I mean it's their vision too, absolutely, and it's nice that they've even given me a shred of it and letting me do my thing, but it's just like, I don't know, it's exciting and it's special, and to be able to cook for my friends and, like you said, competitor, like not even like that. It's we're all elevating Omaha. The better we all are, we take something and learn from everyone all the time. And if this can be like a little community spot to like talk about services, talk about new ideas, talk about techniques. Not to say it should only be that, but that's exciting. It's cool. I don't think there's really many spaces like that in Omaha that have these consistent gatherings of people from around the industry coming by and just hanging out. Mm-hmm. It's fun. It's cool. It's like some of the best people you're gonna meet in your life all in one room, and a lot of them don't get that customer interaction, so a lot of those personalities kind of get shadowed a little bit, because there's the front and the back of the house, and we all have our role, but the back of the house people are awesome. The front of the house people are awesome. Let's all get together and have a little party and eat some good food, and it's exciting.
I've seen that represented on social media, because obviously I follow a ton of chefs and cooks throughout the city, and it's a collaborative environment. Like, people will share each other's Instagram stories or Facebook posts and stuff like that. But there has been so much interaction and excitement about Cattle Call, I think, for the very reason that you guys are describing, because this is a place where everybody else can go. Like, most people, if you're working at let's just say you're working at the dinner shift at an Italian restaurant, you don't get to go to dinner anywhere else. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity for them to actually get to go out and eat somewhere that isn't Culver's on the way home from their shift or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's just been really cool to kind of see the momentum start to build. And now, you guys just had your grand opening this past Friday. Now it's really coming to fruition.
Yeah. Yep.
So I want to talk a little bit about the menu. And like you said, this is all subject to change, and it will change. Mm-hmm. But Dom, this is from the menu that you posted about 4 days ago. So this would be August 8th at this point. And it's a diverse menu. I mean, not only do you have the momos, which I think will always be there, Absolutely. But there's steak, there's pasta, there's crudo, there's oysters, there's desserts. I mean, it's a wide-ranging thing. Mm-hmm. Is there like a specific through line that you try to connect everything, or is it just kind of like, let's create a diverse menu of some really good food, give some people some unique options, and see what sticks?
I think we kind of, myself and my sous chef, shout out to Abe Vidari. He's 22 years old, and he's going to be something here really shortly.
22?
He's a killer.
Okay.
And yeah, I've been lucky enough to know him since like 2022 when we were working at V-Merts together, 2021, and very excited to see his trajectory, and I'm very lucky that he's joining me on this journey. So shout out to him. But as far as the menu goes, me and him kind of sat down together, and we wrote the thing in about an hour. We got in a really good groove. He came over to my place, and before we went into work one day, and just like we pulled all these books out, didn't open a single one, and just like wrote the whole thing. And the inspiration or like the driving force behind it was the cattle call name, like the symbolism behind that this is a place for everyone. So we wanted to use world flavors and kind of have these notes that remind you of something that your parents or grandparents would make, because that cooking from love is like a huge thing. And like when you're reminded of, you get those flashback memories, you're pulled back into your grandma's kitchen. It makes you feel comfortable in that home. And this is a space where we want people to feel comfortable and at home. So we took Eastern and Western and kind of blurred the lines a little bit and threw some stuff at the wall and did some R&D, and I think it came out pretty nice. Yeah, we're excited about it. And we just kind of used that cattle call name and its symbolism as the driving force for writing this menu.
What are some dishes on the menu that bring you guys back home?
For me, it is the mussel dish is a good one. I think that's kind of like a combo one for both him and I. Yeah. We used the Momo pork farce and the Momo base sauce, so it's like blending Italian and Nepali and kind of like just mashing them together a little bit. And I love it. I think he likes it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That would be a wrong question for me to tell me one dish, because everything he touched on. I'll give you a short backstory for Rocky.
Please
and I.
Do.
Yeah. For while we were conceptualizing this from there's the food part and there's the business part, and we've been in the business as a business owner for about 8 years now. And as the journey goes, we're like, man, we love, because the journey started with, we're from Nepal. We want to introduce Nepali, products or food to our Omaha community. And then while we enjoy this, from a business side, it's tough. It's tough to get ingredients. The pandemic threw us off. One of the ingredients, from $2 got to $8 a pound, and we still were trying to maintain our price point because we didn't want to increase the menu price, so that was a big struggle. So when Chef Dom came on board, one thing we told him was like, hey man, look, we love what we are doing, but from a business standpoint, we want to kind of slowly move away from the ethnic stuff because it's a harder sell. It's a lot of like storytelling, educating, and and he kind of nodded to it. He said yes, and then in the menu, I see all these marriages of our ingredients to his style, and I didn't know what to say at the moment, but then he plated it and we tasted it and we were sold, and we were happy that he didn't listen to us in that regards, right? So for me, everything he has created for a Nepali person and come to our kitchen and try our food, the names would not resonate, but the flavor would hit them. So I'm a big nostalgia guy, So for me, like, all his food, his menu, there's nothing that says Nepali. But when I taste them, like he's brought the aloo chops and did something nice with the Morgan Ranch ingredients. He has done the same thing with chicken. Can you name that chicken for me?
Roulade.
Yeah, roulade. Yeah. And I tried the roulade and I was sold. So everything he has created, he kind of took his approach, mixed our ingredients, and just created something beautiful. So for me, everything I've tasted in the menu is a little reminder of home, and I'm like, that flavor profile is very familiar to me, So I'm just super excited.
Just looking through the menu, I can totally see exactly what you guys are saying. Like, everything on here, I think, kind of hits both. Where, Sagar, you were saying we wanted it to be a little bit more approachable, like dishes that people understand. But then you were still able to do the East-West combination. Yeah. I mean, just a couple examples, like the Santa Barbara salmon collars. people know what salmon is. Maybe salmon collar might be a cut that's a little less familiar, but they're willing to try it. Oh, and it's got a barbecue sauce, but it's a delay barbecue sauce, and it's got a banchan coleslaw. Like, those are different elements. Or we were talking off the mics about the tagliatelle. That's pasta. Yeah. People know pasta, but this has XO sauce. It's got mint chutney. These are elements that are taking a known dish and kind of spreading it out a little bit more. So, yes, someone can have something that's familiar, but they can also have their minds stretched a little bit and get to try some new things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's still about education and, like, people understanding more about food and where it comes from. That's why we try and work with a lot of local purveyors, too, and work with what's in season to bring those flavors to the table and get the best product we can get. And we also, the reason we're using salmon collars and hanger steaks is they're kind of the offcuts. They're a little forgotten, but we can still try and do really exciting things with that and then pass on that savings to our customer. Because, like, we're not trying to, we know the industry. We're not all rolling in cash. We want those people to come here and be able to eat good, but we want them to do it frequently. And so we try to tone down the places that we can and not bring in, like, tenderloins or the best stuff. Well, I mean, Morgan Ranch is the best.
Oh, it's
one of the best beef purveyors in the country, world. I'll say it. Shout out to Dan. But they're awesome, and I was lucky enough to go out there recently too, and that was an amazing experience. But yeah, just using, talking about the menu more. It's just kind of like educating people on flavors they're unfamiliar with. Like, we're getting the Momo customers to try some European stuff. We're getting some of the people that go to the European restaurants to try some Nepali and East flavor stuff, and it's cool and it's fun and it's exciting. Yeah,
I love that. I also want to give you an opportunity, Sagar, to talk about momos a little bit, and I feel crazy like asking you this question because I've eaten so many of these, and I mean, you've been serving Omaha momos since I think 2019, so a lot of people are very, very familiar. But I'm sure there are people listening and watching to this right now who are just like, the heck is a momo? They keep talking about this. What is it? What are momos and why are they special to you?
Sure. So 2017 is when we started, but we were doing pop-ups. Just
2019 was on the restaurant.
Yes.
There we go.
So momos basically is our style of dumplings. You'll see a couple of reviews who would say, these are not dumplings, these are pot stickers. For me, they're all dumplings. Shout out to a few of those reviews. But, basically it's our style of dumplings. Every culture, I feel, has some sort of dumplings. The primary difference between how we do our dumplings versus regional dumplings in our region, talking about China or Thailand or Burma. So we just do them with curry spices. That's the primary difference. So our fillings will be done with curry spices. So if you like Indian food, the flavor profile is very similar. And we, every momo maker has their own signature sauces. So the big difference is in the sauces, how you do your sauce. So we have a few different styles that we do, but as a Nepali, for us, momos are, it's part of our culture. I think it's part of our identity. I wouldn't be lying if I say that. I've been saying it to all my friends. If you have a Nepali friend, they haven't invited you for a momo, you gotta, re-engage or see how good of a friend you are, because
reevaluate that
relationship, right? So for us, it's and Chef Dom and I are aligned with the nostalgia part. I think we always catch ourselves talking about how things were, as he was building the menu, I would hear him and Abe kind of get into that conversation as well. And for us, for our community, it's part of growing up. That's something. If we could afford, we would have on a daily, and I'm just blessed right now at the moment to be able to do that. So I eat momo on a daily, So it's something. It's part of the culture. It's part of something that we like sharing. But on a lighter note, it's our style of dumplings.
Well, they are absolutely delicious. You mentioned that the Blackstone location of Kathmandu Momo Station no longer open, but people can come get dumplings now at Cattle Call, or you guys still have your Inner Rail location as well. So 2 places to go get momos. You should go do that. I want to talk about this relationship. How did you guys get connected? Because it seems like you have very different backgrounds. You have different kind of food sensibilities. How did you come together?
Well, we probably met like 5 years ago, like as I was a customer and you were
my customer.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Because I was working at the Dante Forno in Blackstone, and they would be open until 2 a.m. So it was kind of like they were the ones feeding us. You know, we'd gather up all the money from the staff, and I'd run up there and be like, all of them. You know, and,
or we would do food trades.
Yeah, I'd run up some pizzas and stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
their pizza. Yeah.
And then our mutual friend kind of reconnected us. His name's Jeffrey Parker. Just moved out to Minneapolis. Going to do awesome things out there. But he was going to be what my role is now before he had to end up moving. And then he kind of passed along my name to them and passed their name on to me again. I was like, oh, I know these guys. Their food's awesome. I'd go check them out and do the thing. And they were lucky enough to like me, or I was lucky enough for them to like me. Yeah. And yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
So that was basically it. You know, we had a chef. So Jeffrey was recommended, and we didn't do now hiring thing. We wanted to be from somebody's recommendation. Jeffrey was recommended, and he told us that he was actually gearing up to leave Omaha, moving, and he was like, I have a great friend who I think fits what you are looking for, and we met, and then I think it was a very quick decision on our part, and he was gearing up to switch gears and where he was, and we were ready for somebody to take ownership, and our focus was on somebody who wanted to have a creative outlet, because we didn't want to dictate the menu. We wanted to just talk to them about our culture and what we would like to see and give them the creative freedom, and it was just a perfect match, I think.
So, Dom, I want to hear what this was like for you, because, we're talking about, you guys just had your grand opening here at about the end of the first week of August, but you had about a month of like where you were kind of soft open, where you weren't really fully announcing it, but it was like, if you come in here, you can get some great food. Yeah. But before that first soft opening, I believe you were only hired like a week or two. I'm trying to remember, because I came in only a couple days after you got hired and got a chance to try some of the food. What was that whirlwind like for you?
Like you said, a whirlwind. It was surreal, honestly. Like it was all moving so fast, but it was all so exciting and new and fresh. And their passion and my passion was just like propelling us forward, and just like we never got like stuck at any point. We just kept going and going and going and building on.
You didn't have any time to get stuck.
No, not at all. And we got really lucky with how it all came together. I mean, I'm very lucky to have a partner in this industry, in Amanda Sheeler. And I definitely annoyed her a little bit, because I'd be up at like 3:30, 4 in the morning with a clipboard and be like, so what do you think about this? And she'd be like, can we go to bed? And I'd be like, but let's talk about this one first. And I got I'm blessed to have her, because she's helps talking through a lot of this stuff too, and she's going to do amazing things. She just got a job at Metro as like the executive chef over there.
Congrats to her.
Yeah, we're super excited. Both of us are just doing things we've dreamed about, and it's super exciting and awesome, and I'm so proud of her and proud to be with her. But for as far as that coming up on the soft open, it was just like they kind of had a menu built, and then I made a couple things, and they're like, okay, do what you want, and it was just kind of like kind of kept rolling from there. And Abe came in and helped a little bit. He hadn't fully decided if he was on board. Jeffrey was given his time to help me out too. Elena, who is with us part-time, came in, worked the soft opening without seeing any of the menu and just like grabbed it all and like that. And she's awesome. She's also young, like 20 and over at Metro right now. And I'm so super excited to see her take off too. And then we got Angie on board after soft opening, and she's great. She came over from Mercury. And yeah, this whole menu kind of just came together and fell into place. And then we just we did kind of scrap it. And then we'll bring some of the things back eventually, but we were excited to. I get a little bored of cooking the same food too often, so you got to freshen it up, change it up, and when you got that month to kind of like refine and test, and I'm kind of a mad scientist when it comes to this stuff every once in a while, and tinker when I have the time, but we didn't, and luckily it turned out well enough that people decided they wanted to come back for grand opening, but it was surreal and exciting, and probably one of the most like. I don't know what the word is, like gratuitous, like
gratifying.
Yeah, absolutely, gratifying moments and experiences I've had in a very long time in this industry, and I haven't had that like creative freedom and a team around me like that since like Mertz days when I was cooking with Amanda and Colin and Natalie and John and Whitney and Abe, and it was just like and Dawson and all of them, and it was just like an amazing team and super fun, and just like I feel like we're finally gearing back up to something like that, and it's super exciting.
Amanda is awesome.
She is.
Did she tell you that she'd been on the podcast before?
I think she mentioned. Yeah, she did.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it was like 4 or 5. It was probably 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
But it was really fun talking.
Well, she
with her.
complimented you because we were like, I have done few interviews, and I still feel the same thing. I'm still nervous, and we were talking about it. And he's like, "Don't worry, Dan's pretty good at kind of positioning questions, so it comes out naturally." So she was trying to calm us down.
Yeah. I do my best.
Yeah.
Try and as few awkward interactions as we can have.
Yeah.
So Dom, I mean, you're somebody. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your first time like leading a kitchen, right?
It is.
What has that transition been like for you? Where you've been a sous chef before, and you've had the opportunity to create dishes and stuff, but now you're the guy.
Yeah.
You have this. He's given you creative freedom. You're the one who's leading the Abes and all these other awesome people in your kitchen. What has that transition been like?
It's been scary but rewarding. To be that liaison from Sagar and Rocky to the staff, and with the front of house to the back of the house. And being able to talk to customers and being able to like say, "Oh, this is what we made for you," and this is so exciting. Reaching out to purveyors and having these conversations and asking them all these questions and being able to go out and visit them. We'll try and go as a staff to go visit all of these local farms soon, like Miller Dorman and Long Walk, and try and take everyone out to the ranch and go out to Flavor Country and hopefully Santa Barbara for the fish market. But that's a little down the road. But but just doing these little things that I've been trying to instill throughout my career, and I've had so many amazing mentors that would answer the questions that I had, and like in Dave Smirk and Seth Lacey from Dante, and now Dave's doing Circo, and Amanda at V Mertz, and then Dave Utterback over at Yoshi with Matt Kelly. I've seen a lot of people do it, and I've always was like asking the questions. I'd watch them do their orders. I'd ask about invoices and how they do their costing, and just to finally put that all into practice is stressful, but it's super fun and it's rewarding, and we're only going to get better at it as we go, and it's just awesome.
And I can see the way that you talk about Abe, and just like you see a lot of potential in him. Do you try and spin that forward now and go back and look at all what these other amazing culinary talents did for me? Mm-hmm. What does that look like in my relationship with my staff now?
Absolutely. And I'm lucky in that regard because he's a lot better than I was at that age, like levels ahead. And he's incredibly intelligent, and so is everyone on that staff. Like, they all pick up things so quickly and so much easier than I ever did or ever could. And like my timeline is just unsurmountable amount of trial and error and just figuring out what I can do and what I can't do. And to have these people around me to help push it, and they make me want to be a better leader for them too, and be the guy that they can count on. And I want everyone in that kitchen to end up being a lot better than I am. And, hopefully I can help give them the tools or the space to make their food and refine the things they want to refine. And I just want to do right by all of them too. That's what I want to be as a leader and a chef and the guy at the helm of the kitchen. I want to, the front of house, back of house. I want all of them to be able to feel like they can come to me and ask for anything or talk to me about anything, and just try and be the best person I can be for them.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is a food podcast. I'm super interested in food, and I'm interested in you guys. We should probably spend a little bit of time on drinks. I mean, that's a big part of Cattle Call as well. So, Sagar, I would love to just give you the opportunity to, there are so many different types of bars in Omaha, and even cocktail bars specifically. What was the kind of the specific angle that you wanted to approach cocktails with? What are you hoping that Cattle Call, kind of offers that not other Omaha bars don't, but that kind of sets you guys apart?
I think for us, for Rocky and I, when we were conceptualizing about the cocktail program, for us, Cattle Call won't be the space where you have, not at least for now, we won't be the space with innovative cocktails. We got, Green Room next to us. Mm-hmm. We got Mercury next to us. We got Wicked Rabbit next to us. So we're not going to try to compete with their level, but we hope to be a space where there's approachable beverages, from quality to price point, and we hope to be able to learn and grow in the space with the community there. So our goal is very simple at the moment. We'll have all the quality classics. We have a young bar manager that I'm excited.
Michael's awesome.
Michael's big shout out to Michael. He's been working with us for a little over almost 3 years now as a bartender in Saffron, and he got promoted to a bar manager, and we are excited for him. He's a student, you will see cocktail books, and that's not because we gave him that. He's somebody who's passionate, but we don't want to put any kind of pressure on him at the moment. So for now, we're just the place that serves quality cocktails. You can ask for any cocktail, we'll have them available. But from a bar program, we want to be just an approachable neighborhood bar that has good drinks. We do want to focus a lot on wine. I think that's the gap we see in our block, because Mercury does amazing cocktails. Green Room is just the boss. We love going to Green Room after service. So we will be the wine place where you have approachable bottles, and so we learned a few things from the industry leaders here who do great wine program. So we'll have retail bottles, all kind of, we'll have a good list of wine bottles at retail price that you will spend, flat $10 corkage on it. So our goal is to have a good wine program, have a good cocktail program, and slowly grow into the innovation part of it as we grow, as we learn. But for now, we are a place where you can come enjoy your classics, bottles of wines or a glass of wine, and with amazing food from chef.
You guys make a very smooth old-fashioned as well.
Yeah, they're nice.
Do.
I can confirm that. Okay, so I want to talk about, the opening of this restaurant. Like we said, you guys made this a slow burn. The grand opening was, I think, just August 10th. It was this past Saturday, but you've been open for about a month now.
A little over a month. Yeah.
What was the strategy behind doing that? And I think I want to preface this by saying I think it's very smart, and I think some restaurants really rush into it, and sometimes with budgets and money constraints they have to. But you guys chose to really make this a slow burn. Why?
So for us, Rocky and I, we have done a few restaurants, and we've always struggled for the grand opening. I mean, the jitters are still there, don't get me wrong. I had a couple of sleepless nights right before the grand opening. But we have done a few restaurants, and a lesson learned for us was, whatever pressure we put on ourselves, it's us putting that pressure on ourselves. So it's our space. We're not reporting to anybody else, and we wanted to make sure there were few things we wanted to touch on and build on. And one was our team chemistry. We wanted that ample amount of time for everybody to get to know each other, so the flow is just seamless or organic. Everybody's looking out for each other. When in the past, when we rushed into grand opening, there was still a lot of communication challenges, And I think in a month and a half, our team got to know everybody that started is still here. So so that was the intention. And then we also wanted to ensure that the creativity that came from the kitchen, from Chef Dom's team, wasn't rushed. I know he mentioned that they came up with the list, but there was a big list that they kept on saying, yay, no, and there was tested. They had that time to refine, and that was the main goal. So when we rolled it out, my palate could be biased, but if Rocky and I are looking at Dom and saying, "Can you feed us a little?" And we are eager to just eat the same food the next day. For us at least, that's a lot. That's a peace of mind. So we wanted that time for the kitchen and for our team and for ourselves to say, yeah, we feel ready to make some noise. Right? So.
And we reset the entire kitchen almost. We kind of built it back from ground up, did some electrical work in there, and there's no gas, so we're all
electric.
Yeah, we're in an induction burner kitchen. We got our oven after soft opening installed, so we were just kind of doing it with a little toaster oven to start, and so just building up and getting more comfortable with the space and deciding what can work where, and are we going to blow this circuit for the 10th time in a night, or can we figure out a way to kind of hot hold some of these things and get them all ready, and get steamers going and arranged in a way that's going to make the kitchen flow and be the most efficient that it can be while still delivering this level. And we're getting there for sure.
And you did mention that we had a full menu, and that what Chef was telling you earlier. So we had a full menu, and the kitchen was designed around that. And then when he came in, we tried his soft opening food, and that's when we decided to say, our menu is on the back burner, do what you want, and that's when and it's been a process. The month's been interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think looking back, part of you probably says, man, if we would have announced this earlier, we probably could have had more customers, we'd have more of a footprint now. But I think it's wise that you took that opportunity to kind of get your feet under yourselves, get that stable foundation, and then say, okay, let's go.
Yeah, open the floodgates a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the floodgates opened on Saturday. I mean, unfortunately, I had some family obligations on Saturday. I wasn't able to come, but I was on Instagram, and I mean, like I told you guys, I was seeing stories from several different people, and it was a party. I mean, that place was packed. You guys mentioned the live music. I imagine the food was just coming out like crazy. When it's so fresh right now, but as you try and think about that night, and if you're telling somebody about it in 5 years, in 10 years, what do you think is going to be the first thing that you're going to be like, man, here's what made that night special?
I mean, I think the people we had around us was what made it special. And to see family and friends all coming and celebrating all the the work that we've done and the effort we've all put in, that I think that's the most special thing you can get. Like, I think when the music started, Elena was like, this feels like some Disney movie kitchen, because we're just like dancing around while we're cooking and having a great time, and kind of trying to shout over the music, like, what was that? Like, and so it was just, yeah, the whole night was just like something I will never forget, because that was just awesome and like special. And yeah, the people that came, the people we have on staff, like, we were all gelled and had like this one mind, one vision, and like we just made it happen, and it was super cool. Yeah,
I think I would say, the same thing for me, personally, it was very hectic, not from a service standpoint, but just, when you're opening a space. We have waited a month for this night, so the buildup was there personally, internally. So I was just very anxious, but as soon as the door opened and we started seeing some familiar faces and some new faces, and this time around, contrary to how I have done, Rocky and we have done grand openings in the past, we would do Facebook event and kind of invite people. So this time it was just a hush-hush, like we just wanted to see the build-up. I mean, it was not like we didn't promote it at all, but it was not.
You didn't blow it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So because we have a tighter space, we have a smaller space. We were not doing reservations. We just wanted walk-ins. So the jitters were there. I was super anxious. I had to leave the restaurant right before 4 doors opened, and I just wanted to go and kind of take a moment and come back. And by the time I got back, the place was packed. So that and for me personally, I had faith in our team. I knew we could do it. It was just the people part I was anxious about. So as soon as I opened the door, I saw that. I was in my go-to mode. I saw the kitchen, doing their thing, and our front of the house team is amazing as well. They were doing their thing, and then Rocky and I were just being the assistant, throughout the evening, and Sky, the jazz band, just took it to another level. So it was for me, like every now and then, Chef Dom and I have conversations to say, I'm talking about neighborhood bar, and he's like, but we have this, so he's steering us to more of a fine, casual, like, how would you say it?
Casual fine dining.
Casual fine dining.
Fine dining.
Yeah, but then when 10 p.m. hit and the music hit and everybody was loud, we were talking to each other. So we had a good marriage of what he wants and what we want. Mm-hmm. So that just made me happy. And it was just, I saw a lot of our old Momo customers, and we didn't invite them, but they were there for support. And I was happy to see them try a little bit of Momo and our new menu. And every table I touched had, they were just excited for the food. So for me as a business owner, it was just a moment I would never forget. And I can happily say that this was probably one of the best openings for me personally.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's what's up.
So you guys have both been in the restaurant industry for a while. You know that restaurants evolve in unexpected ways. There are curveballs that you're thrown that are going to affect the future of your establishment that you can't predict right now. They might come in a week. They might come in 6 months. They might come in 2 years. You just don't know. But as you look at the evolution of cattle call, the things that you can predict and the things that you're anticipating and excited about in the ways it's going to evolve, what do you see as the future of your restaurant?
Well, I know we'll be doing wine dinners here shortly, which is super exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, the first one will be the first week of September, I think, a couple of days after this drops, that first Thursday. We haven't started selling tickets yet, but super excited about doing that. Menu's starting to come together conceptually for it. and we'll keep having live music. We kind of got those guys.
Second Saturday of the month, we'll have Sky and his band.
Yeah, and so those are fun little things, because then we get to play with different food all the time too, and have awesome music and awesome people coming in and just enjoying themselves too. And I think we talked about DJ nights, and I don't know, just kind of seeing where it takes us, and that natural growth just kind of happens over time. You know, nothing's hard set in stone yet, but except for the dinners and music.
Yeah, well, one thing we're trying to get Chef Dom used to is like Rocky and I. I've had some restaurant background, but more of a front of the house as a server. But now Rocky has had zero restaurant background when he joined. So for us, there's the business part, but we still love collaborating with the experts, So we've been we're trying to get him in the culture of just like make it your playground. Of course, there's the business side of it, the cost side of it, and I'm just eager to see what direction he takes us, and we're open to it. And from a culture standpoint, where we just want to be that neighbor that throws unpredictable parties with good food and good drinks. Yeah. So that's the intention, and we'll see what which route we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The neighbor that throws unpredictable parties with good food and good drink. Put that on the T-shirt right now, guys. That's the kind of place I want to go to. Mm-hmm. And listeners, this is the place that you want to go to. I've had these guys' food. I mean, like I said, I've been eating dumplings for years. And you could go to Cattle Call and just get a drink and fill yourself up on momos, and you'd be a really happy camper. Yeah. But also go and get some of what Dom's creating too, because it is really, I mean, just even looking at this menu, I get excited because I see like all these different parts of not only the country, but the globe kind of coming together in one dish. And that's exciting to me. So I just want to say thank you to you guys for taking the time to come on the podcast today. I know you're busy. I know that, opening a restaurant requires a lot of time, a lot of nerves and energy and everything, and that you gave some time to come on here today. Oh, yeah. It means a lot. Thank you.
Thanks for having us. It was awesome.
Yep. Thanks for having us and always giving us the platform, Don.
The pleasure's all mine.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Omaha, as always, thanks for eating with us.
All right.